About my career path. I am currently a college professor, a professor of mathematics and statistics. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I ended up doing this and what I do in my day-to-day job. So I teach at Broward College, which is a four-year college. It's a community college. And I've been doing this for well over 20 years now in full-time capacity. And I love what I do. I love teaching at college. So first of all, what kind of education do you need to be a college professor? Well, that depends at what kind of institution you teach at. For a four-year college, you typically need a master's degree in the field that you're going to teach in. So if you want to teach English, you're going to have generally a bachelor's degree in English and then a master's degree as well. If you're going to teach math like I do, I have my bachelor's degree in mathematics and I have a master's degree in mathematics. And then in addition, many of us also have doctorate degrees. I do have a doctorate as well. My doctorate's in higher education administration and leadership. If you were to teach at a university, the difference between a university and a college stops after four-year degrees. The highest we will offer is a bachelor's degree. Universities typically also offer master's and doctorate degrees to their students. So for that reason, there is a requirement that professors at universities are going to have a doctorate in addition to the master's. But many of us at the community college also have our doctorates as well. So that's what we will have to do, learn about our field of study in order to be able to teach it. So it's a difference also between K-12 teachers and higher education teachers. I used to teach middle school and high school. I taught all the way down to 7th grade and up to seniors. And most of us that have taught at four-year colleges have also taught somewhere along the way in the K-12 system to get some experience and work our way up to teaching in college. There's quite a few differences between teaching in kids and teaching adults. So let's just talk a little bit about the nature of my work. A part of my job is teaching. Okay, so typically at a college like mine, teachers or professors will teach about 15 hours per week. That is what we call our teaching load. So I teach about, most will teach about 5 classes at 3 credits each. Okay, so about 3 hours a day is our actual teaching. So it doesn't mean we get to just relax the rest of the time. What we have in college or in higher education overall is what's called shared governance. So that's kind of unique to education. It means that there isn't somebody at the top making all the decisions. It means that we as professors are involved in all the decisions at the college. So we hire everybody. So if somebody else is going to be a professor in the department, we form a committee to hire that professor. It's not going to be, like a principal hiring or anything. It's going to be us. We hire the new people coming in. And even if we're hiring a math professor, we'll have people from English or maybe somebody who's a counselor also being on that committee to hire. And this goes all the way up to the president of the college. I could be on a committee to hire the president of the college. Okay, so that's kind of unusual. So we're involved in the decision making and the hiring process. We also are involved really in all the decision making for curriculum, meaning what we're going to teach. The state gives us very specific guidance for certain courses, and there's a whole process as to how to create a new course. We have to get approval from the state in addition to within the college. But again, it's a committee that's going to come across and brainstorm new ideas and then present them and get approval. Okay, so it's not one person ever making a decision at the college. Big decisions or small decisions are all made together. Okay, and that can be a little different from K-12, where teachers, your teacher will decide what she's going to teach or how she's going to teach in the classroom, but she's generally not going to be involved in he's not going to be involved in hiring a new teacher or in figuring out whether there are going to be any big changes at the school. Those decisions generally come from somewhere else when you're not in college. So that's a big difference between the two. So in addition to the 15 hours of teaching, we're expected to work about 35 hours a week. We have 10 hours outside of class that are called like student office hours, which means students can come to my office and I can help them one-on-one and answer their questions. So that's kind of nice. Students are welcome to kind of interact and almost have like a tutoring session with me if they want. And then the other 10, 15 hours per week are expected to be involved with committee work and, of course, preparing for what I'm going to teach in class. So I have to come up with what examples I'm going to do in class, maybe what technology, videos, all that sort of thing is also part of what I need to do to prepare for class. I should mention that also a big difference between a lot of the four-year colleges and the universities is that professors like myself are principally involved in teaching. Okay, that is where my passion is trying to impart information to my students. At the university, a big part of their load is involved in research, in writing papers that are in peer-reviewed journals, meaning looked over by professionals in their field. In the college, we don't have to do as much as that. However, many folks like myself have written for journals. I present at many conferences, usually a few times a year. We like to exchange our ideas. So even though it's not required at the college level, most of us do it. And at the university, it's a very integral part of your work is doing research and presenting. And you probably will not actually keep your job if you don't do that. Like teaching is not enough at the university level. Okay. And then also I should mention that we, are involved sometimes in the decision making, even at the state level. There's always professors that will go to Tallahassee to be involved in, maybe legislative process as well. Okay, and then I actually have a second job related to being a professor, and that's that I work for several publishers, Pearson, I've worked with McGraw-Hill, some big textbook manufacturers, in creating content, textbooks, reviewing the textbooks, writing workbooks to go with the textbooks. A lot of learning that goes on in college now is done through the computer, so we write a lot of problems, examples, videos for the computer. So, that's something that I found very interesting to get involved with. So it's one thing to be good in math. I love math, spent a lot of time on it. But to actually go beyond the classroom, I also have to be well-rounded and know how to write well, especially if I'm going to be writing for the, a big publishing company. I do a lot of proofreading, so believe it or not, a lot of my commentary isn't just on math, but also on other errors that I might notice. So it always benefits you to be well-rounded. And with that being said, it's very competitive to get a job at the college. Typically, when I'm on a hiring committee, we might see over 200, 250 candidates for one position. So you have to be that lucky one. It's kind of like getting the lottery. And of course, the more you do, the better you look in your resume, the more chance of you being hired. Okay, so it's not easy to get that position, but with hard work and with having a plan of action and loving what you do, you can get there and do whatever you want to do, whether that is teaching, being a professor, or something else entirely. It benefits you to